What do you think? Do you guys want to, like, while you have your fresh palates, you want to try the best one first and then go backwards?
I think that would not. I don't think that'd be fair because we know, like,
Yo.
All right, we're rolling. Welcome to SF Whiskey, guys. Today we have on the bar top the Glendronach series. It's kind of like their core lineups, the 12, 15, 18, and 22. And these are all 2022 vintages. Glendronach's got an interesting story in regards to the age, though, because if I remember correctly, it closed down for a while, right?
yeah.
But even though the casks were still labeled with the age and everything, and then it was bought up and reopened, and the casks were then released. But at least in our setup, none of all the ones are older juice than it is, except for the 21. This is actually a little bit older juice. Instead of 21 years, actually 27 years. So that's would have been nice to have a regular old 21 to just compare it up against. But c'est la vie, c'est la vie. What do you think? Do you guys want to, like, while you have your fresh palates, you want to try the best one first and then go backwards?
I think that would not. I don't think that'd be fair because we know, like, how strong the sherry develops, especially in the older years.
All right. We'll just go sequentially then. Okay. Start off with number one then. Does it say, like, what it was finished in, or?
Well, so the 12, they're all finished in a mixture of PX and Oloroso, except for the 18. The 18 is the only one that is purely Oloroso.
So this is the 12-year original in PX and Oloroso sherry. Nice, labeling and everything. Just kind of classy looking.
Yeah, it's a very, very classy looking bottle. It, like, you look at it and you immediately assume that, yeah, this is like a well established, like, bottle of scotch.
Okay. Ooh, on the nose, that Oloroso comes in really nice.
It dances with that PX.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mix, but it's very bright. Like, because some sherry cask, especially stuff that's like fully matured in sherry, they tend to get a little darker. This one it really dances with your palate, and it's very bright. You can tell that it's a bit on the sweeter side, almost vanilla Swedish kind of.
It's almost a syrupy sweetness.
Yeah.
Definitely the syrupy sweetness.
Syrupy sweetness. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go for that taste. Heavy on the mid, but then not much up front on the back end too.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of dies down and
For what it is, it's actually really, really good.
yeah.
Let's go to the older sibling. 15 year, 3 years. Would you think that it changes much from that 3-year time?
The nose is very similar.
Oh, nose is better.
You think it's
Yeah,
better
the
this
nose is
one?
a lot.
Is it
There's a lot less ethanol on the nose.
That's true. It's a lot more darker. Down.
Yeah,
It's
you can definitely
got more to
smell.
love.
You can smell that nuttiness
Yeah.
from the sherry starting to develop.
But the essence of what it was from 12 is still a little bit there too.
So this one had a very similar kind of profile, I think. Here, let me see if I can get this going. So I love the beautiful green labeling. I think that's just really, really characteristic. Also matured in PX and Oloroso. There's some tasting notes on the back there. But yeah, this is absolutely beautiful there. Yeah.
I love the slight gold etching on these labels, especially on the older bottles when the juice gets a lot darker. That gold really just plays nicely with that
Here's some of the notes here. So on the nose, they're thinking maraschino cherries, some dark chocolate mints, and walnuts and orange.
definitely getting the chocolate.
That's actually pretty apt.
Yeah.
This is not too far off the mark. I think this one will be a good one. If people are trying out, and those are relatively pretty core.
Going back to that example that you mentioned earlier, right? At a bar, right? If you're starting out, right, and if you're not sure about the 12, right, maybe get a pour of the 15 at a bar.
Yeah.
That'd be a really.
I
nice
would personally start at the 15.
Yeah.
The nose is a little bit more developed
Yeah.
and balanced than the 12 one for sure.
I would also say it really depends on how much of a foodie you are, because it really interplays with your taste profile. Because a lot of people aren't able to actually
Goes through
understand
like details of the notes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sherry is just a lot more
Oh, for sure.
like deeply developed. Ooh, that ginger spice really comes out.
Yeah. This one has more of that tongue feel too.
Yeah. It's more viscous.
More viscous,
It sticks onto your tongue.
Into that dryness afterwards too. Yeah.
It's good juice. It's good juice.
But short finish. From
Very short finish, but the body does make it up. Like
Mhm.
that rich palate does make it up.
The oak presence is stronger to the point where it's definitely more drying than the 12.
For sure.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Just that drying.
Are they all the same ABV?
It should be.
It should all be around 46, right? 43 for the 12,
Yep,
but
should be 46.
That's 46?
no, there's 43, 46,
46,
46 and
48. Yeah.
48. Okay.
Yeah, last one's
There you
48.
go.
But this is this a mix? Yeah, okay, so there is PX in here as well. So I think they might have leaned a little bit more towards the Oloroso maybe for this batch. I don't know. We would have to compare it with with other years to sort of like, really pinpoint that. But for the most part, it feels like, it's got that drying effect of the Oloroso because it is a lot less sweet than the 12.
I don't mind the drying effect, but I wish, but that drying, I wish it had more of a lingering finish on the back end. But then that will balance it out a lot more.
Because at the moment, for me, I like the balance on this better.
Do you think there's more balance on that one?
Yeah, per what it's supposed to represent, yes.
It's funny how they named one of the founders of the distillery for the 18 and not the 21. Yeah, because I think James Allardice, his name is on the on like the tin or whatever.
Do you know do you know the story for each of these names though?
I'm not sure actually. All I know is that the 18 Allardice, that James Allardice was one of the founders, or at least he was heavily involved in the creation of Glendronach.
This one's only an Oloroso. There's no PX on this one.
Yes, yeah. The 18 is the only one in the core lineup where it is just Oloroso. All the other ones, including the 21, is a mixture of Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso.
It's funny. I like the 18 the most because I guess there's the least amount of room for error. Because you're not blending all these different casks.
Yeah.
You're not adjusting the percentages.
There's only one finish, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the nose is definitely more pure Oloroso. That kind of like that raisiny kind of tartly kind of a nose. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
This one has that finish I was talking about, right? That's
it has that depth and it kind of lingers.
Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna have that drawing effect, I'd want a consolation effect of having a good finish.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think negatively a little bit on drawing astringents, huh?
I do, only if it's imbalanced.
Okay.
Or unbalanced. It needs to kind of dance with the finish, I feel, so that it's just not just pure oak dryness.
I agree with it too.
Yeah, for the 15, what happened was I think it was a little too dry, but I think the fruitiness doesn't really shine because you can have like a nice dry body, provided that you have like something to pair with it to be able to sort of like create a theme. And if it's like fruity but kind of dry, it kind of it's kind of, it harkens back to a really nice dry red wine or something.
I was gonna say I always compare this to a nice cab, right? A full body cab, right? It's good and heavy and rich. That dryness, the tannin down in the back end, it really evens out, right?
Yeah.
This one, I'm just reading the notes on it. It says full body finish, which is exactly what I would explain this one as.
I feel like if you're sacrificing something, you should get something in return. Basically.
Well, it's also subjective too, right? Some people do that dryness and not that deeper finish sometimes, right?
To be fair, you are more impartial to PX.
I am, but I'm choosing Oloroso. It's because of the balance. Because I'm always keen on the balance. I don't care if it's one or the other. It's just it has to be executed correctly.
Right. Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that your palate tends to lean more towards the PX. So when an Oloroso like has that drying effect. You want something to have it balanced to sort of pair with it in order to create that experience, the rounded effect, that experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I could say, because that one was not mixed with other cast types like PX, I would say that price is justified on 18. Even at double the price of 15, if you were to see it at 200, I would pick it up.
The 18 is definitely deserving of its.
So I'm seeing right now, like this is the first filled one, right?
Yes.
But, yeah. Are they all first filled or only?
This is based on the 2009 bottling,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
so I'm sure practices have changed.
I don't know if like the newer ones are first filled or
We would probably have to have a
we
representative.
would have to have a
Yeah.
rep to talk about
Yeah.
that, just because we wouldn't know. I mean, based on do you guys know if they add color to Glendronach?
not. Additives.
I don't think
so.
so. Not for color, no.
Because
It should be pointed out that these are all basically blends. These aren't single malts.
Yes,
that should be
yes.
clarified that they're blended down. That
well, no,
year.
they are single malts because they're all coming from the same distillery.
Yeah, okay.
But they're
not
not
single
single
cast.
cast.
They're
Yeah,
not
they're not
single
single
cast.
cast.
They're blended and then diluted down to that 46er. Okay. Let's go for the last one then.
All right.
This is the big daddy of them all.
The aptly named Parliament.
Oh, there is gravitas on that nose.
Oh, wow.
That commands something right there. So this is the Parliament, the 21-year-old, but in this case, this is a 27-year-old juice, not the 21. So, but this is PX and Oloroso. But man, it's this is not going to be a representative of the core lineup of the 21, but this is just a one-off year vintage expression of it.
I will say though, just to be kind of petty and picky for a moment, I do not. Out of all the labels, right? I think the this like yellowish gold kind of does it a little bit of a disservice,
It's
just
not
because
as impactful.
you get the presence with like a darker background combined with that font and that gold etching. I feel like that one it kind of loses it a little bit. A little bit less impressive. It's a little bit less eye catching personally, but hey, to each their own.
It stands out from the lineup as different.
That's fair.
They're all,
That's fair.
it's still a cardinal color would be a good way, like RGB and then, something lighter.
RGB.
It says Parliament, so maybe it's trying to harken back to parchment paper. The lighter.
Well, Parliament is like, the governing body building.
I know, but in
So-
terms of the
Okay, you're reading too much
dates-
into it.
I'm talking about the dates.
Let's go for the nose.
Yeah.
All right, the nose.
I mean, it does hit you a lot harder than the other
Oh
ones, for sure.
man,
Yeah.
it's just grandiose and
Yeah.
like luxuriant on the
I'm
nose.
getting that like tobacco nuttiness from,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like a nice like well developed like sherried well mainly Oloroso, but like definitely a nice sherry
Yeah.
whiskey will have that nuttiness to it. with
And it
Oloroso.
still has a consistent of like the sweetness. Like
Yeah,
fruit
the
notes,
sweetness is definitely more in the back. You get
Yeah.
the nuttiness hits you, and then it's that sweetness, honey, almost kind of
Yeah, yeah.
creeps in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, I'm getting stewed fruits instantly.
I mean, this one just like
Ooh.
hits you and just stays there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, versus all of these three,
Yeah.
it hits you with flavor, and it that flavor just sits there. There's no
Yeah.
kind of changing. This
Yeah.
one, like, you give that basic flavor, that rich flavor, and it kind of like
Develops a
rolls
little.
around.
It plays a little bit on your
it,
tongue.
it, like it's like has a little bit of different iterations of that same like sweet that goes a little bit higher and lower.
Did you guys initially get like more like the tobacco like there's like a tobacco molasses note that immediately hits my palate.
I
But
didn't
then
know
it
up front,
switches.
yeah.
Then it switches instantly to like a very like sweet, almost like fruity jam.
Yeah.
Honestly, price point aside, right? If like if all of these bottles were priced at the same price point, let's say, or like if they were just given to me like for free, like just in front of me where
Yeah.
I can drink to my leisure, I would pick the 18.
Yeah.
I actually rank the 18 higher than the 21. As a person whom we all like have drank with, right? He used to say like the thing that he looks for in scotches especially is like that roll in the finish, right? When you have that palate and it rolls into the finish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not so much roll, but it rolls into the finish. But like he's just saying that there's evolution of the
There's-
flavors
yes.
on the palate there. It's like a movie that has like some depth to its comedy or to depth to its story and drama. It's not just a simple ABCD sequential kind of linear track. That has got some twists and turns.
But to add to it, the movie has to be elegant throughout. If the movie finishes not that well thought out at the end, or if the
Back to
finish
the
of the
Future
movie,
3.
if the movie wasn't well
Game
thought
of
out,
Thrones last
Yeah.
season.
and
Only TV. The
And-
books have a little more.
Yeah.
so the Glendronach 21, I would actually say it's like Tenet. It's a great movie up until the end.
No. Okay, no. I would disagree with that.
Okay,
we're cutting-
that'll be a
yeah.
separate discussion.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. This is
Let's wrap this
Let's
up.
wrap
Yeah.
this up. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
So
all right.